Hey expats and travelers alike, today we're here to talk about expat life in Toronto. We've broken it down into three parts: moving, living, and working. I'm Josh with Expats Everywhere.
And I'm Kaylee.
And this is our review preview show.
This was a pretty close race, with Toronto finishing at 32% and Tokyo right behind with 21%. But let's get started with moving to Toronto.
Toronto is known to be Canada's most expensive city, with the average cost of living being around $35,000 a year and housing prices being crazy, which is where a lot of your salary will go. Even though it's expensive, it has been on many livable cities lists that consider infrastructure, education, culture, healthcare, environment, stability, and more.
Toronto also has a little bit of everything for everyone. It's extremely multicultural with 200 nationalities represented, so lots of different languages are spoken around the city, but English is the most commonly used.
As far as neighborhoods to consider, if you're into the hipster art scene, check out North Riverdale, Queen Street West, or Kensington Market. For more affordable neighborhoods near the city, look at Etobicoke, Leslieville, and Liberty Village.
For those interested in the food scene, you'll want to be near St. Lawrence Market. Other good food districts are Little Italy for Italian food, of course, Theatre District for Thai food, and Scarborough for lobster dishes and more. The beaches is a great area to be, but it is expensive.
Be very intentional on what neighborhood you pick though. We would recommend living close to where you work, as commutes can be quite long in Toronto due to the city being spread out and the amount of people living there, which is around 3 million. Properties closer to the subway usually cost more.
Although there are a lot of people in the city, it's known to be very safe. For those of you who are moving there with pets, you'll need a health certificate, and your pet will most likely be inspected upon arrival. Go to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency website for details.
Yeah, it's great. That website's awesome. Now let's talk about living in Toronto. The city is constantly making different lists for the best city to live in, and there's lots of reasons why. The weather's quite manageable in the city, with winter months getting down to around 32 degrees Fahrenheit and summer months getting up into the low 80s. So it doesn't get too cold, it doesn't get too hot, it's pleasant.
Sounds nice. Like we mentioned before, the commute for work can be a bit gruesome, but the good news is they have reliable public transportation. It can be slow though, which can add to your commute time. They have a subway, streetcars, buses, ferries, and more. A single ride is quite expensive though at $3.25 Canadian dollars. You can get a monthly pass though if you're planning on taking public transportation regularly, and then that'll end up being cheaper.
Yeah, there are loads of things to do in the city, from film festivals to shopping to clubs. There's a huge variety of food options. There are many parks around as well, so that's lots of room for cycling, jogging, and more.
For those of you who like to shop, like me, you'll want to check out Toronto Eaton Centre. If you want to spend time going out, King West is a good area, and if you enjoy art, go to the Art Gallery of Ontario.
Now, we've talked a bit about how expensive Toronto is, so let's break down a few numbers for you.
The cost of a one-bedroom apartment in the city center is around $1,700 USD, with a three-bedroom in the city center costing around $2,700 USD. If you move out of the city center, you can find a one-bedroom for around $1,350 USD and a three-bedroom out of the city center for closer to $2,000. Expect to pay around $155 USD for utilities and $50 USD for internet and such.
I find that expensive.
It's expensive.
A meal at an inexpensive restaurant is around $15 US, and a three-course meal for two at a mid-scale restaurant is $70. A beer between $5 and $6, and a coffee around $3.
Before we talk about working in Toronto, we want to take a minute to give a few shout-outs to those who are commenting on our review preview shows.
Naomi Mimi wrote on our Nairobi video, "Liking your personalities. Shout out from Kenya, guys." Thanks, Naomi. We want to give you a shout out on here as well.
Josh Donnelly wrote on our Glasgow video, "I love the people from Glasgow the most. That's great to get your take on the people there, and thanks for sharing with our viewers on that video."
Yep. Abraham Louis wrote, "Amazing," on our Jerusalem review preview. Thanks for that. Jerusalem really is an amazing city.
It is. Lastly, Lone Star wrote on our Lisbon video, "We're two Americans living in Zagreb, but plan on relocating to Lisbon in November. Your video was very informative. Thanks, guys. We are glad the Lisbon video was beneficial. Check out our vlogs about us moving to Portugal, which is happening in just a couple of days."
And we hope to catch up with you guys when we're there. If you want to get featured on our shout out section here, be sure to comment on this video or one of our other review preview videos and see if you make the cut.
Let's talk about working in Toronto. The city is extremely established with lots of options for work, such as finance, tech, the service industry, and more. If you're in the tech industry, you could find yourself in Toronto, as Google, Microsoft, and Facebook all have offices based here. There are also smaller tech companies and startups, so it's very fast growing.
Yeah, the city is the financial and business capital of Canada. You can find jobs in tourism, sales, music, education, manufacturing, and food and beverage. The film industry is also something to note in Toronto, as many shows and movies are filmed here. Suits? Anybody?
Yeah, we liked that show. There really are a lot of options in Toronto, which is no surprise since we have seen how multicultural and diverse it is. Remember that you need to go through the proper outlets to get your work permit. If you're moving there with a company, they will help you with this.
Yeah, the job market is healthy there and unemployment is low, but keep in mind that the city is in high demand for people wanting to live there, not just expats, but a ton of locals from all over Canada. So you might have a hard time finding a job that you're qualified for. You might need to start a little bit lower than your skill level and then work your way up, as we've seen that in the city.
A couple of good websites to look for jobs are Indeed and Monster, so happy job hunting.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to stay up to date on what's happening in the world of expats everywhere. On that note, let's quickly let you know what is happening in our world.
Josh and I are moving to Portugal next week, and we've been vlogging about that process, as there's a lot of paperwork to get your visas and lots to do. Check out that playlist in the description below.
Kaylee did an interview with Laura, who's an expat living in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. It's a unique place, and Laura gives us loads of pictures, so you guys can listen to what she has to say about being an expat there and see her amazing photos of Mongolia.
We've also done a video with Simone, who is an Australian who lived in Bali, and she helps others move to Bali as well.
Yep, and we're now moving on to the letter U, so if you're a subscriber, be sure to head over to the community tab page to vote for the next city. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. Let's go. Make your vote count.
Remember, we post these videos every other Thursday. That's all for this review preview show. Until next time, bye.
Bye. Toronto. Toronto?
Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto.
So Kaylee and I have been to Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto?
Toronto.
Yeah. So Kaylee and I have been to Toronto, and we have some friends that live there. We actually filmed both of them several years back, so that's Milosh and Sonia. We'll put the links in the description below for those two videos if you want an expat perspective on living there, and we're trying to source other newer, fresher interviews for that. But what do you think of Toronto?
I thought it was really nice. It's really pleasant. Like, we were there during the summer, and the weather was really nice. So we could sit outside at different cafes, and it was really comfortable. The city's really pretty. There's lots to do for tourism as well as for living there. The food scene is also really great. So lots of options for food.
Yeah, and our friends that we stayed with actually live in New Toronto, and we walked all the way from New Toronto to the financial district, and we checked out some places where Suits was shot. So the big building, the office building where Suits is shot, that's in Toronto. That's not in New York. So that was really neat because we were super fans of that show at the time. Yeah, I love it there. I think it's really, really nice. Very, very nice lifestyle, but it's expensive.
Yeah, and the walk was really long, but it was super walkable. They make it very jogger friendly, pet friendly, and it was right along the water. So it was a long walk, but it was nice to do. And a lot of people cycle as well, so you can definitely get a bike and go for work or just for exercise.
So my question with Toronto is, would you expat that?
I would. Yes, I would live in Toronto. Would you expat that?
Yeah, I would expat Toronto. And I think that we would need to have some pretty well-paying jobs. I don't think right now we could do it off of our digital jobs. Actually, I know we couldn't. So
that's why we're going to Portugal.
Yes. So thank you guys so much again for watching this bonus coverage. We love you. We thank you so much for the support. And if you haven't done it already, please hit that subscribe button. We're really trying to grow this thing out and be able to produce more content for you guys. And yeah, we just thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.